what could I do with this in resin? Hopefully it peels away. Look at that. So not only could this be really handy for resin artists, but also nail artists, I think. Fingers crossed. Right, we are back with another resin art video, kind of an experiment. I don't know where this one's going to go. So it was my son's birthday the other day, or our son's birthday the other day, and he was 8. And Mrs. Cooper set me, one of the jobs for me was to put up the birthday banners. Now, you know how my brain works, guys. Again, I looked at this and I thought, oh, I wonder, what could I do with this in resin? It's super colourful, holographic. If you're anything like Mrs. Cooper, you've probably got a carrier bag of these or a box lying around the house. Just don't go using ones that are sentimental. This one's not. We had a few of these and this was a spare. So yeah, what can we do with this? I think we could really utilize. I mean, this is a big banner. I mean, it's really long. I can't really get it off camera. And I think there were 3 or 4 in one pack. And you can pick these up super cheap in your local shop, supermarket, or online. And yeah, I think hopefully we can capture some of this in a really nice, maybe a pendant or something. Let's see what happens. So first of all, I'm just going to cut a strip off and just do a test. I want to see if the resin will bond to it. I don't think it will because of the type of material it is, but we could always kind of cut this and put this inside resin. So, but yeah, that'll be my first test just to see how sticky the resin is with the banner. So I'm just going to use some of the Let's Resin UV resin for this as a test run, and I'm just going to cure a blob onto the surface of the foil banner and give that a cure under the beast. Okay, so the first thing I have noticed is that the heat from the curing process, I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of rippled up the foil. But the good thing about this lamp is that it has variable wattage. So if I turn the wattage down, I should be able to prevent that from overheating and rippling up. But let's see how strong that has bonded, or if it's bonded at all. It's not very good. Hold on, look. That's actually transferred the holographic design, kind of. If you look, there's still some on the foil, but I'm wondering if that could be coming through from the other side. I don't know. That has actually kind of transferred some of the detail. It hasn't fully cured. You see that patch in the middle? That's because this is highly reflective and the light's not quite penetrating through. I'm going to try this again on a lower wattage and see if I can get the whole lot to cure, or maybe flip it over this time, and hopefully I can get the light to go through the foil and cure that properly. But look, that's crazy. It's almost like a nail foil, the way that's transferred across. So even on a lower setting, it's still kind of rippled up a little bit. And I'm just going to use my baby beast just to cure through. So if you can see, it kind of does penetrate through the foil. So I'm hoping I can get a better transfer this time. Okay, let's see if that is any better than the first. It's definitely taking off more of the film. You see that? I wonder if it is double-sided. I wonder if I could also use this side, but the trouble is it's coloured. Don't know whether that's printed on. I might be able to take that off. But look at that. So not only could this be really handy for resin artists, but also nail artists, I think. The way this is transferring, very similar to a nail foil. That is pretty incredible for just a birthday banner. So I am going to try it very quickly on this side also. Okay, let's see if this has worked also. You see it's pulling off that blue ink print, again, it hasn't fully cured all the way through because it hasn't picked up that part. But then I can't see any kind of wet resin on the back. There's no holographic look to it. I'm going to try it and see if I think the holographic detail is only on one side. And let me try and see if I can get that ink off with some alcohol. Okay, I've just got some isopropyl on this tissue. Just see if that, yeah, look, it's coming off. Really, really easy. Super easy. In fact. So we could clean that off completely if we wanted to, but then I don't think, if we look at the areas that we transferred from on the other side, they're pretty much clear. So I think these are lasered, aren't they, guys? I'm not sure how they make these, but the holographic is only on the back part, not the printed side. But even still, with a whole banner, we could make a lot of different things. And also, I think by taking this ink off really easily, it should, in theory, cure better. Because the light should be able to penetrate through a lot easier for us to use if we're using UV resin. But this would also work with epoxy. But a brainwave, I think, leave some ink on that side so we know which side is the transferable side. Otherwise, if we clean it all off, we're going to struggle, the same as I do with nail foils. I always struggle to work out which side is the transfer side and which side is not. So yeah, in theory, we've turned this into a transfer foil. Genius. So, excuse my tatty mold. I'm going to try something. I'm just going to fill up, say, this heart cabochon cavity in my jewelry mold. I'm going to cure the resin and then see if I can transfer directly onto the resin with the foil, the same way they do with nail art. Okay, I don't think this is going to work because with nail art they kind of flash cure. They flash cure the nail gel, but we'll see. I might have to give it a very thin skim coat and flash cure the resin so it's still sticky enough, but we'll see if this transfers. Hopefully it's taken off. Yeah, you can see it's taken off some of it, but I think I needed to skim that and just flash cure it so the resin is a bit more tacky and sticky. But you can see it's definitely working. This could be a game changer. I hate that word. Why did I say that word? This could be really cool for nail artists as well. Okay, I don't know whether this is going to be tacky enough. We'll find out. If not, we will try something else. Much better, I think, with nail gels. I mean, I'm not a pro, I don't know what I'm doing really with the nail art idea, but I definitely think it's doable, the transfer. But I want something a lot better than that, so let's move on. I'm going to cure a couple of different shapes and sizes and see if we can bond them directly to the foil with a very small amount of resin to transfer it. So I've got my holographic side up. I'm going to apply some UV resin directly to the foil. I'm going to take my heart that I've just cured, place that on top. I'm not worried about any bubbles because we are just test running this. Okay, that has cured. Again, it's rippled up a little bit. But to do this with epoxy, I think cut the heart shape slightly smaller, put your epoxy in, and put the whole foil in and just leave it and back it, because it does actually look really cool with the foil left, you know, without transferring it. Let's see. Hopefully it peels away. Look at that. Again, you know, I wasn't looking for the perfect finish. I'd put a little bit too much resin underneath and there are bubbles. But look, from a birthday banner to the possibilities of this are pretty incredible. Now, I'm going to try something. I need to look for the mold though. This one is like a gemstone. I'm hoping that if I get the foil on the bottom of this, all these what's the word, guys? Is it faceted? I can't remember. You know what I'm saying. I'm hoping it's really going to bounce around that holographic look on the back of this. I have seen other people do this with different types of foils, so, and holographic inlay sheets style things. You know what I'm saying. That's another thing as well. I think we could actually make holographic molds using this stuff. That will be for a different experiment. So I'm just going to mix up some of the collab resin for this one. So I can now just pour my epoxy into the mold. I should have run my epoxy through my debubbling machine, but I didn't. So I'm just going to let that sit for maybe 15 minutes just for the bubbles to rise. And I've already pre-cut a square of the film just to go on top. But as always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, and to all our subscribers. I've still got some micro bubbles in there, but I'm not overly fussed. Just going to slowly begin to lower this onto the surface of the resin. That way, hopefully, I won't get any trapped bubbles. And we'll just wait for that to cure. Okay, this is all cured now. I want to try and get it out the mold, but keep this on just to see what it looks like with it on. And I know I'm just going to have a fight doing this. Might get it out in one go. Can see some bubbles already. There it goes. Wow. Look at that. I did predict the bubbles, but that is looking pretty crazy on its own. It reminds me of a TV show I used to watch growing up called, what was it called? Crystal Maze. They used to collect these, it's like a game show. They used to collect these big crystals. I'm going to trim off the excess and just see. I had a bit of a ripple there. I think I must have moved it. It's distorted it a bit. It's not too bad. Right, let's trim that up. I mean, as an ornament, I could keep that on there. It's not going to cause an issue. That is stunning. Right, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to peel it off or not. I need to peel it off to see if it's transferred. Right, let's do it. If I don't like it without, I can always UV resin that back on. And my resin is still a little bit soft. I'm just hoping it's bonded properly and that it's going to leave behind the detail from the holographics. Fingers crossed. Right, okay. See, I should have done it really quickly because it's left these kind of lines in on the circuit. Can you see those faint lines where it's peeled? I think I should have left the resin a little bit longer so it wasn't as soft, and that would have eradicated those lines. But that is still stunning. That is absolutely beautiful. Right, okay, just one final look at it before I completely, potentially ruin it. What I'm going to try and do is just make it look a bit better. I've got that bad section there. I'm thinking hopefully I can clean this with some alcohol. maybe give it a sand, level this off a little bit, and then transfer another sheet onto it to try and get rid of those black lines. Oh. So by doing that, it's got rid of the lines. Okay, we lost a little bit of the holographic detail. It's got rid of those lines, but we've still got that kink. I don't know whether to proceed. Normally with something like this, if you was to add a resin to the holographic detail, you would lose the detail. So I think I am going to proceed just because that kink, I don't like it. But that has got rid of the lines just using the alcohol. So the holographic detail has obviously got some form of ink on there as well, that we've removed with the alcohol. You can see that now. But yeah, I think I'm going to go a little bit further. It's looking so much better, but I mean, what would you do? Would you keep the film on there, or would you peel it off? Let me know in the comments. Imagine that as like a doorknob or a drawer pull. That's absolutely incredible. So that brings us to the end of the video, I think, for now. It could venture into other different ideas, different shapes. But yeah, I even made this one like a small pendant. Same thing, made the cabochon first, some UV on the banner, put the cabochon on, cured over the top, peeled it away. It really does, it looks like a crystal. Absolutely stunning. I do need to get some different molds like this, but you know, on a small form. But I think that worked really well. From an idea with just a banner to actually creating some stunning pieces. This is not normally the stuff I would make, but I kind of want to make more. I kept it on there for now. I do need to do some tidying up around the base where I put too much UV resin, kind of spilt out the sides, but I can clean that up. It's not a problem. But yeah, would you keep it on or take it off? I think it looks good as it is. Absolutely incredible. I love that. Might take that home. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what would you do with it? I hope you enjoyed that one. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.